The hum of the starship engines was steady, almost hypnotic, as Lieutenant Corin Vale drifted through the outer rim of the Andrus expanse. His mission was simple, at least on paper. Scout uncharted regions, collect data, and report any anomalies back to the Galactic Council. But the expanse was far from simple. It was here, in the shadow of a dying star, that he found her. Corin had been tracking an energy signature that defied explanation. At first, it was faint, like a whisper on the edge of perception, but as he approached the coordinates, the readings spiked dramatically. Docking in an abandoned station, he found the source, a containment pod, heavily reinforced, humming with energy he had never encountered. Inside, suspended in a translucent field, was a woman. Her features were delicate, yet there was an aura of power surrounding her. Her eyes were closed. Her breathing was steady, but something in the pod suggested she was not entirely unconscious. He examined the controls. The pod had safeguards, alarms, and encrypted locks that even his advanced training struggled to bypass. But as he worked, a subtle resonance began to grow in the air, a vibration that seemed to synchronize with his own pulse. The pod responded to him, as though it recognized a key in his presence. Finally, the locks disengaged, the hum softened, and the pod hissed open. The woman's eyes snapped open, glowing faintly, as if she had awakened from a dream that lasted a millennia.
"Who are you?"
Corin asked cautiously, unsure whether to expect gratitude, hostility, or indifference. "I am Liora," she said, her voice melodic but firm. "And you freed me." Corin hesitated. Why were you imprisoned?" Her gaze was distant, almost sorrowful. "I am bound to a debt, a war I did not begin, but one that requires my presence. You have changed the course by freeing me." The journey back to the council was tense. Corin was trained to handle unpredictable situations, but nothing in his simulations prepared him for Liora. She spoke sparingly, yet every word carried weight. It was clear she possessed knowledge that spanned centuries, possibly millennia. "Why did they imprison you?" he asked during a long silence. "They feared what I could become," she replied, "and what I could undo. There are forces in the galaxy that would rather see stagnation than change." Corin didn't fully understand. Her power wasn't violent, it was profound in ways that challenged logic and perception. During the trip, he noticed subtle anomalies. Machinery seemed to anticipate her movements. Navigation systems adjusted themselves without input, and sometimes, in the reflection of the viewport, he thought he saw multiple versions of her, shifting in impossible synchrony. It was unnerving. By the time they reached the council, her presence was already causing ripples of concern. High-ranking officials whispered, their eyes darting toward the passenger deck, where Liora sat calmly, observing. Some considered her a threat, others an asset. Corin felt the weight of responsibility pressed down on him. He had freed her, and now everything depended on what she would choose to do. Counselor Rykard, a tall figure in ceremonial robes, approached them. "Lieutenant Vale, you have brought back the subject of a century-long directive. Explain yourself." Corin stood tall. "I found her imprisoned in the Andrus expanse. She is not hostile. She may be crucial to stabilizing the sector." Rykard's eyes narrowed. "You speak of someone who has been considered a threat to all known systems. How can we be certain of her intentions?" Liora rose from her seat, her movement graceful, yet commanding. She faced the counselors. "I was imprisoned because I represented possibility. I was freed because someone chose to trust, not to control. I am not your enemy. I am a catalyst, and the galaxy will be tested by what comes next." The council murmured. Some feared her. Others were intrigued. Corin, for the first time, felt a mixture of fear and awe. Liora's freedom was already changing dynamics in ways no one could predict. Over the following weeks, the galaxy shifted. Borders once thought stable experienced tremors of political tension. Trade agreements faltered, alliances wavered, and old conflicts reignited. But in all these events, Liora moved subtly, guiding decisions without force. She became a symbol of hope for some, a threat for others, and always a figure that demanded attention and respect. Corin was her constant companion. He observed her as she navigated delicate negotiations, witnessing her ability to influence without coercion, to reveal truth without violence, and to inspire loyalty without promises. Her knowledge of events, some that had not yet occurred, was staggering. Yet she never imposed her will overtly. She guided, suggested, and occasionally intervened when subtlety failed. One evening, as they reviewed reports from the outer sectors, Corin finally asked the question that had haunted him since he freed her. "Liora, why me? Why did you let me open that pod?" Her gaze softened. "Because you saw me as I am, not as a threat, not as a tool, not as a weapon. You freed me because you acted without fear, without ambition, without expectation. That choice matters more than you realize." Everything changed because of that moment. The true test came when a rogue fleet from the Arden Dominion appeared, poised to conquer a vital trade hub. The Council debated aggressively, sending orders that often contradicted each other. Liora acted. She did not command fleets. She did not issue ultimatums. Instead, she projected her presence across communication channels, offering strategies that anticipated every move, suggested compromises that neutralized aggression, and revealed hidden weaknesses in the Dominion's plan. Corin watched in astonishment as entire fleets adjusted without her physical presence. Her insight alone redirected outcomes. By the time the Dominion realized what was happening, their fleet had been rerouted, their intentions nullified, and a potential war avoided entirely. The Council could no longer deny her influence. Corin realized that freeing her hadn't just returned a prisoner, it had restored a force that could change the galaxy in ways no weapon could. In the quiet after the crisis, Corin finally understood the truth of Liora's words. The galaxy had changed, not because of battles won or fleets destroyed, but because a single act of trust, his decision to release her, allowed a being of immense capability to act. And she had acted with restraint, wisdom, and vision. "Everything has changed," Corin said softly, staring out at the stars. "Yes," Liora replied, her gaze distant. "But change is not destruction. It is evolution. And now, the galaxy has a chance to evolve, to adapt, to survive, not through fear, but through understanding." Corin realized that the story of Liora would not be recorded in the annals of war heroes or generals. It would be written in subtle shifts, in alliances, in choices quietly guided by her hand. And yet, her presence, restored because of him, would echo for generations. She returned after he freed her, and the universe would never be the same. As they departed for the outer sectors once more, Corin understood the gravity of that moment. Freedom, when granted wisely, had the power to reshape existence. And Liora, neither prisoner nor conqueror, was the living embodiment of that truth.